One of my biggest mistakes, and there were many that I had to learn from and still learning from as a project manager, was assuming the loudest voice actually cared the most. I thought their complaints were a sign of commitment. Actually, it turns out they didn't want a solution at all. They just wanted an audience. And once you see that, you stop trying to fix what was never meant to grow. I once worked on a project with a team member who was a master complainer, we'll say. It was predictable. Okay, let's be honest. It was almost rehearsed. Every meeting started the same way, along. I'm like, oh my God, here we go with the sigh. Then the folded arms, and then the signature, as we'll call it, the signature open. Houston, we've got a problem. And at first, I gave the benefit of the doubt. I told myself, this must come from passion. They want the project to really win, succeed, have the best. Okay, I'm sorry. Look, but the pattern never changed. Week after week, they pointed out every issue imaginable, timeline, communication, technical gaps, yet never owned a single solution. Suggestions? Ignored. Action items? Oh, you already know they were delayed. Always the first to talk? You probably guessed it, and always the last to act. I kept giving them a chance after chance because I believe in developing people. I thought if I coached them hard enough, supported them with not just words, but also actions, and clarified expectations enough, they'll eventually step up. But every coaching moment turned into excuse. Every attempt at clarity turned into confusion. Every solution I brought them back was a bigger complaint. When you have that moment, don't act like this, family. Don't do this in front of me right now. You know that moment you have where you say, you know what? It's not you, it's me, but it's really them. Sorry, family. Sometimes I have these flashbacks. Let's get back to the story. And then during a retrospective, I looked around the room and saw something I'll never forget. My team, frustrated, confused. Okay, they were just drained from the project, not from the workload though, but from the noise. They weren't tired of the problem. They were tired of the person avoiding the solution. Therefore, I learned something critical. Some people don't want progress. They want the permission to stay exactly where they are. They don't want the fix. They want the floor. They don't want the solutions. They want the spotlight. Matter of fact, they don't even want accountability. They actually want an audience, and therefore I had to change how I led. I can't give the same energy to everyone. You can't partner in progress with someone committed to standing still. And you cannot build momentum around a person who refuses to pick up a solution. Principle number one, the loudest complaints often come from those who never pick up a solution. Now we're going to unpack this, not to judge the individual I was talking about, but to understand the pattern that keeps majority of leaders stuck. See, people who complain without acting are revealing something deeper. They're not seeking progress, they're seeking control. Complaining lets them feel in charge without having to contribute. Picking up a solution would require responsibility, visibility, and most of all, effort. And that exposes their gap. See, their complaint becomes their shield. Their noise becomes their identity. And their lack of action becomes your burden if you allow it. Why is this important? If you don't identify this early, you'll spend your time trying to motivate someone who has no intention of moving. Meanwhile, the people who are ready to execute get overshadowed. See, great teams don't crumble from workload. They crumble from mismanaged energy. As a leader, where your energy goes, your team follows. Experiment with this actionable tip. Shift the conversation from complaints to ownership. Next time someone brings you a problem, ask them one simple question. What's your first step to move this forward? Oh, I like that, family. See, you'll learn instantly whether you're dealing with a contributor or a complainer. Here's my professional advice. Protect your mental bandwidth. The wrong person can drain a team faster than a complex project can. Never confuse passion with productivity. Never mistake a volume for value, and never let someone's noise distract you from the people who are ready to build and execute. And here's where it gets even more interesting, family. Because once you challenge someone's behavior, Their insecurities start to, let's just say it starts to rise to the surface. Principle number 2, when someone measures you through their insecurities, they'll always underestimate your value. I like that, family. See, insecure people don't see you clearly. They see you through the lens of their limitation. Your strengths make them uncomfortable. Your confidence feels like a threat. Your progress reminds them of their own stagnation. The reaction have nothing to do with their competency and everything to do with their fear of being overshadowed. Why is this important? If you're not careful, you start shrinking to make them feel safe. You'll soften your delivery, downplay your value, and second guess decisions you are absolutely right about. And once you start shrinking, they expect it every single time. Experiment with this actual tip. Stop over-explaining. Start documenting. You know the conversation here. You're going to hear that a lot. Documentation beats conversation, because documentation protects your work from misinterpretation and your value from being rewritten by someone else's insecurity. I like that. Here's my professional advice. Don't negotiate with insecurity. Your confidence isn't arrogance, it's clarity. And when insecurity meets desire for power, something else kind of emerges. Think them starts with the E, something, entitlement. Principle number 3, wanting leadership without responsibility leads to entitlement, not influence. Some people crave the title, but reject the weight that comes with it. This is starting to get good to me, family, because they want the authority without accountability, decision-making without consequences, and recognition without contribution. That combination, it produces entitlement, not leadership. Why is this important? When entitlement exists inside a team, decisions get delayed, accountability discipline, and most of all, the workload shifts to people who actually care. If you allow entitlement to operate unchecked, you reward inaction and penalize execution. Experiment with this actionable tip. Pair every request for authority with a requirement for ownership. So if someone wants leadership, their first assignment should be to demonstrate responsibility, not preference. Here's my professional advice. Influence is earned, it's not inherited. If someone isn't willing to carry responsibility, they are not ready to lead. An entitlement favored partner is ego, especially when the truth shows up. Principle number 4, arguing with the truth is the fastest way to get stuck. Hey, family, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm still a work in progress with this, because you know what happens? Some people resist facts because facts expose their patterns. See, the truth is, it requires them to be accountable. The truth is, it adjusts their habits. The truth is, they don't want to admit they contributed to the problem. See, arguing with reality becomes a defense mechanism. Why is this important? See, if people refuse the truth, no strategy training or mentorship will help them grow. Truth is in the foundation of improvement. Without it, everything else collapses. Leaders waste so much time. I'll raise my hand. If you're a leader out there, raise your hand if you do this. We waste so much time arguing with people who have no intention of listening to what we want to help them out with. Experiment with this actual tip. Shift from debating to documenting. You see, this is the second time we're bringing documentation up. See, when the truth is challenged, put the facts in writing, and reality will eventually settle in the argument, and sometimes not. Here's my professional advice. A person who denies the truth isn't ready for the level they're asking for. Growth, real growth, requires honesty. And when the truth is ignored, the next resistance you will face is around boundaries. Principle number 5, boundaries feel like betrayal to those who benefit your lack of them. Ooh, I like that. See, people who rely on you constantly saying yes will take your no extremely personal. Your boundaries remove their access, not your respect. But to someone used to convenience, any limit feels like an attack. Why is this important? Without boundaries, people take more than they give. You burn out, your performance slips, and your leadership becomes reactive instead of intentional and proactive. Boundaries protect your capacity, your clarity, and most of all, your credibility. Experiment with this actionable tip. State the boundaries once, then enforce it consistently. People respect what you protect. Here's my professional advice. Boundaries don't ruin relationships. They actually reveal who you're actually dealing with. I like that. But once boundaries are set, another truth appears. Some people want your time, but not your guidance. Principle number 6, time means nothing to someone who refuses guidance. You can give someone access, meetings, coaching, clarity. Matter of fact, you can hand them a roadmap. But if they won't apply the guidance, the time invested becomes wasted energy. Presence without participation is a drain, not a contribution. Wiser support. Leaders lose momentum when they confuse access with progress. Some people don't improve because they don't listen. Some don't listen because they don't want to improve. Oh man, that's a shout right there. Because family, if you ever look at it, you think you're giving your time and wanting to assist and wanting to help, and you're giving and nothing is changing. It's not like you're looking for an overnight change, but you're looking for some type of momentum that they got the message. All right, I'll move on. Experiment with this actionable tip. Require action between meetings. If someone wants your time again, they must show evidence they use your time the first time. I'm gonna park here parenthetically, family. I'm gonna say something. One of my mentors, he gave me this amazing approach, because I'll have people say, hey, I would love for you to mentor me, or I'd love for you to coach me. And I would say, here's my information, let's connect. I'll never hear from them. And what I learned though is that now if someone says that, I'll say, hey, this is what I need you to do. See, my mentor was saying that people, it sounds good at the time. It's sort of like when you have that New Year's resolution and you say, you know what? After the first, I'm going to start going to the gym, or I'm going to get on a workout plan or some type of diet plan. And it sounds good, but now you have to put action into place. But now you have to actually do what you said you were going to do. So I say all that to say that you want people to show you evidence, because your time is valuable. Treat it like currency, not charity. And when your guidance is ignored long enough, people fall into those predictable patterns and outdated habits. Principle number 7, stagnation is guaranteed when someone keeps operating from an outdated version of themselves. You know what's so interesting? Even software has to update itself. But people, they like to cling to old behaviors because it's familiar. They rely on outdated skills, old approaches, old attitude, and most of all, old belief, even when those patterns no longer work. They want new results with old habits? Why is this important? You cannot move a team forward when people insist on using yesterday's tools to solve today's problem. Stagnation, it spreads. When one person refuses to evolve, the entire team is impacted and they start to slow down. Experiment with these actionable tips, or I should say tip. Make growth a requirement, not a suggestion. Introduce new expectations with measurable behaviors, not motivational speeches. Here's my professional advice. If someone refuses to evolve, you can't bring them into the environment that requires innovation. And that leads us to the final principle. The one that exposes why progress stays out of reach for so many. Principle number 8, results stay out of reach for anyone who refuses discomfort. I know discomfort. I'm so familiar with discomfort. Growth demands discomfort. New skills feel awkward. New responsibilities feel heavy. New expectations feel unfamiliar. People who chase comfort avoid the very friction that creates progress. Why is this important? A team that avoids discomfort avoids development. Projects stall, accountability drops, and mediocrity becomes the new standard. The people who rise are the ones who embrace the stretch and not the softness. Experiment with this actionable tip. Normalize discomfort, make stretch assignments, direct feedback, and new challenges part of your team's culture, not a rare event. Here's my professional advice. Comfort builds complacency. Discomfort builds leadership. I like that, family. That brings us full circle, family. And here's the truth. Until I started studying leadership with my mentor, Phil, I used to think that leadership was about fixing people. It's not. It's about understanding the lane that individual is in. And are they actually ready and willing to grow, or committed to staying exactly where they're at? So you could pour guidance into someone who refuses to listen. You can offer solutions to someone who is addicted to complain. You can set goals for someone who won't let go of outdated habits. But none of it will matter if they're more committed to comfort than progress. The real work is choosing where you invest your energy, because your leadership becomes unstoppable the moment you stop trying to rescue people who don't want to rise and start pouring into people who are ready to move with intention, responsibility, and most of all, courage. Your boundaries don't make you harsh. They make you very effective. Your honesty doesn't make you difficult. It just makes you more trustworthy. Your expectations don't make you unreasonable. They make you a leader. So here's the truth I want you to walk away with today. You don't elevate a team by carrying those who won't walk. You elevate a team by modeling what growth looks like and letting alignment do the rest. Because leaders, real leaders who rise, are the ones who stop fixing and start evolving. If this message resonated with you, share it with another project manager who needs to hear it. If you're looking for mentorship or coaching, check the link in the episode. Let's get to work. And if you're just new here, all in general, I go by the name of ED. For all you smart and intelligent folks out there, hey, just listen. That just simply means Ed. Until next time.